Talkin Tiger Nation, what's going on, guys? It's Kurt Stubbs with Talkin Tigers, here with your not instant reaction, delayed reaction. We're going to change the name of the segment to delayed reaction because I think it is better to take a couple of days to think about it than be a prisoner of the moment and just shout off opinions, thoughts, which those are cool for was Xing. But in this form, I'd rather take a couple of days to kind of think about it and process thoughts. So not being that prisoner of the moment, we will call this delayed reaction. All right, so I will get to the Newark Pick Central game, but there was a couple other things I wanted to talk about before we got to that. The first one is just a public service announcement to the Ohio Capital Conference. Okay, back in 2020, we started playing in the OCC Buckeye. And this is not a shot at anybody. This is not a degrade of anybody. This is just the facts. Since starting play in the 2020 season with Lancaster, Newark, Groveport, and Reynoldsburg. So weeks 6 through 10. In 2020, it was a little different because we opened up with North and then, we were only playing the conference games. But we have currently played 16 games in this OCC Buckeye division. All right, so I'm going to just give you the facts. And I know people don't like facts, but these are the facts. 2020, Pick Central, 212 points. The other 5 opponents, 16. 2021, Pick Central, 215 points. The other 5 opponents, 34. Last year, 2022, Pick Central, 182 points. The other 5 opponents, 34. Our opener last week, Pick Central, 41. The opponent, 7. Overall, 16 games, that averages out to about 41 points per game for Pick Central to roughly around 5 for the opponent. So you're looking at an average of a 5 touchdown difference in all of these 16 games that they played. They're 16-0 in these 16 games. I don't know about you, but Ohio Capital Conference, this isn't a good thing. And then, you're going to add 3 more teams to this division, which is going to make 8 teams in the division, which is going to make 7 conference games. And then there's other parts of the OCC that only have 6, which means they have 5 conference games. So Canal Winchester is being added along with Logan and Tays Valley. Canal Winchester, right now, would be the second best team on paper in this league if they were in there this year. They're currently 6-0. I know they're Division 2, but to me, we scrimmaged them. I think they'd be the second best team in this league. Logan, Tays Valley, I mean, you're talking about teams that are coming from playing in conferences and leagues that the opponent is and nothing against their opponents. It just is what it is. Nowhere near the caliber of player or team that we have here at Pick Central. So I don't know. Tays Valley is growing, and they're playing us in the junior high ranks right now. So maybe, here in the next few years, these games could be competitive, but I'm doubtful of that. So I don't know. I just feel like, we should be in a conference with Pick North. We should be in a conference with Gahanna. If you want to have us in there with Groveport, I get that. Newark is obviously a good opponent on the basketball floor along with Reynoldsburg. Reynoldsburg has been down the last couple years, but when Buddy White was there, they gave us some pretty good games, even beat us back in 2018. So I don't know. I mean, winning by an average of 5 touchdowns every game you go out just doesn't seem like a whole lot of fun to me. And then if we're going to play the other 7 teams, that gives us 3 out of conference games, which one of those is going to be North. So then you're down to 2. two out-of-conference games. So if you're Pick Central, you're really going to have to search for some monsters, for some heavyweights in those 2 weeks. Now, I could be mistaken, and maybe we aren't playing all 7 of the teams in the league every year. But if that is the case, and the other one out-of-conference game being North, those two other out-of-conference games got to be giants. They do. For a team like Pick Central, that is a prisoner of their own success, where, for better or worse, it's, are you making the state semis? Are you making the state finals? Are you winning a state title? When reality is, winning the conference is great, but that's not where this program is. This program is, in the top 5 to 10 in the state of Ohio, and that's where you want to stay. You want to have this problem. But I just think that this alignment is not good, because football is the straw that stirs the drink in athletics. It is. I mean, there are schools in Ohio where basketball draws well, but for the most part, football is the straw that stirs the drink. It's your moneymaker. It's an event every Friday, or if you play on Saturday, it is an event. It's a social event where people come out and the crowd is packed. And these weeks 6 through 10 for the last 3+ years now, have been horrible. I mean, outside of Reynoldsburg, a couple of close games. Groveport last year, I think, was 21-14. When Groveport beat us in 2019, that was an out-of-conference game. We weren't in the same league. But I don't know. It just, week 6 through 10 is just, it's not real fun. It just isn't. But I digress. I want to address the Pick North Westerville Central game, because I've heard some people taking shots at North for just barely getting by a 0-6 Westerville Central team. But again, let me give you the facts. The facts are this. Yeah, Westerville Central's 0-6, but their opponents have a record of 30-6. And they have been in every one of those games, and I'm not sure some of those teams at the front end of their schedule that they wouldn't beat right now. So to me, I don't look at the 0-6. I think it was a good win for Pick North. I do. I think it was a really good win. That's a game maybe historically that they would lose. Last year they got smoked by Westerville Central in kind of surprising fashion. But I think that just shows you the difference in this Pick North team, that they were able to get a gritty win like that against a team. You could say whatever you want. They're 0-6, but they are a much better team than that. I know you are what your record says you are, but that is a good football team. I don't care. To me, that was a good win by Pick North. And again, I'll digress on that as well. But let's get into Friday night's game, a 41-7 win for Central. There's not a whole lot to say here. This game was over at halftime. It was 41-0. The JVs played the entire second half, which was cool for them to get some of that Friday night shine. Going into this, I thought that a couple things had to happen. We had to get after Steelmeister, and we did. We were all over them. They could not block our front. They did have their running back had a nice run there early in the game, but he went down. T. Davey. I mean, it's not going to make a difference in the outcome, but it did give them another option offensively. But we just smothered everything offensively and really owned the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. So defensively, I thought our front dominated. It was good to see we got some interceptions, some takeaways on defense on Friday. Offensively, we did some good things. Like I said, K1 Alexander probably could have had 300+ yards rushing if they wanted to let him do that. They didn't, obviously, and I respect that for sure. And I respect the way that we do things with making sure we have depth at all the positions. Because in football, man, you just never know when people are going to go down. And Anthony Madison had 2 touchdowns called back on the same drive. And then we ended up throwing a 29-yard touchdown pass from Rocco to Deuce White on a 3rd and 27 on that same drive. We had a 45-yard fake punt, Dom Shaw to K1 Alexander. We love that fake punt. And more often than not, when we call it, it's there. And I'm not sure, but I think it's the up man, like in this case, Dom Shaw. I think it's his call. So correct me if I'm wrong, but he made a great call there if it was him, throwing that to K1 and he did the rest for the touchdown. But overall, we had some guys sidelined, Terrence Alexander, Heller, did not play. And, those are some key contributors on offense. And then defensively, we had a couple of guys out. But I thought some guys shined and played well. I don't know how much you take out of this other than we got the 500, 3-3, dominating win, and we're going to go on to Grove City this Friday. We are going to Grove City, but to play Central Crossing this Friday. I'd rather be playing Grove City. No offense, Central Crossing. No offense to my guys, Zach Fleer and Jason Morrow, esteemed Central Crossing grads, but that's where we're heading this Friday to take on the Comets. So be looking for the preview either Thursday night, early Friday morning, and hopefully the Tigers can get back up over 500 at 4-3.